This demonstration is to show how to repair a hydraulic hose right on a machine in the field with the clevertech model 1434 hydraulic hose crimping tool. This is a field kit that contains what you need to repair a hose in the field. The first thing you do is to clamp your holder bracket onto the machine in a convenient place that the hose reaches. You clamp your hose into the holder bracket to get it sawed off. We'll now saw this off. The saw blade is a high-quality 18-tooth blade that is used to saw off the wire braided hose. Then we remove the old hose end from the holder bracket and we install a new hose end, clamping it into the bracket. Tighten down the bolts to securely hold the hose end. The gauge blocks on this model tool are for weatherhead hose and hose ends. But a lot of times you'll have a hose that's not a weatherhead. In order to repair a hose that's not weatherhead, we use this calipers to check the crimp diameter of an old end that's already on the hose. And you crimp your new end down till this calipers just slips over. So you duplicate the crimp diameter. As long as you duplicate the crimp diameter for the hose that you're using, it will hold. This demonstration is to show how to repair a hydraulic hose right on a machine in the field with the clevertech model 1434 hydraulic hose crimping tool. Our first step is to mount our holder bracket onto a convenient place on the tractor. We use the C-clamp to hold the bracket. It doesn't matter which position the bracket is in, as long as there's room to rotate this tool. Then we take our hose end and clamp it in the holder bracket. We tighten it firmly by tightening these two bolts so that the hose end doesn't move around on us. After we get the hose end clamped properly in the bracket, we take our tool and take the smooth side of the tool, slide it toward the holder. We get the tool on the holder and we tighten the T-handle until the holder, we tighten the T-handle onto the hose end until it is on there firmly. Then we take our hose, slide it in onto the hose end until it's bottomed out. Once we've done that, we rotate our tool clockwise, and as it is rotated clockwise, it moves toward the outer edge of the hose end. When we get about 1/8 of an inch from the hose end, we go counterclockwise back in toward the holder. Each time we get back in toward the holder, we tighten the T-handle 1/2 turn, rotate the tool clockwise, stop about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the hose end, rotate it counterclockwise. When we're back in next to the holder, we tighten the T-handle 1/2 turn. We keep repeating that process until this gauge block is tight. When that gauge block is tight, the hose end is crimped down to the same crimp diameter as the factory specifications for the hydraulic machines. There are gauge blocks stored on the handle for different size hoses, from 1/4-inch hose up to 3/4-inch hose, single wire or double wire hose. The gauge blocks here are for weatherhead hose and hose ends. We also have a way to put ends on hydraulic hoses that are not weatherhead hose, because the hoses that have different thicknesses of rubber have different crimp diameters. Our process takes this calipers and we adjust it so that it just slips over an old end that's on the hose. And then we crimp our new end down, and so we duplicate that crimp diameter. As long as we duplicate the crimp diameter, we're crimping it the same as the factory specifications for the hydraulic machines that crimp ends on. Makes this a really versatile tool to work on so many different sizes of hoses and to work out on the machine in the field. Okay, this is the model 1434S hydraulic hose crimper from CleverTech, and that's determined. We check the proper crimp diameter with the dial calipers. There is a chart that comes with the tool that has a crimp diameter of several major brands of hoses and different sizes of hoses. But if you have you're repairing an old hose, you can simply check the crimp diameter of an old end that's already on the hose and adjust the calipers so that it's checking that crimp diameter, and you crimp your new end on so you duplicate that crimp diameter. As long as you duplicate the crimp diameter of an old hose end, then you'll be properly crimped on. This demonstration will show how to put a hose end on with the model 58114 CleverTech hose crimper. We can repair hydraulic hoses right on a machine in the field. The model 58114 tool will work from 5/8 hose up to 1¼ hose, and any size in between, such as 3/4, 1 inch, single wire hose or double wire hose. This tool has been laboratory tested with the Weatherhead, Dayco, Anchor, Goodyear, and Imperial Eastman. This display shows what's included in the model 1434 hose assembly system. It comes in a plastic box with a tray. It has a holder bracket, a C-clamp, small wrench, a hacksaw with a 18-tooth Millennium blade, calipers, and Teflon tape. This is everything you need to assemble a hose in the field. It also has the toolbox and tray to carry hose ends. The model 1434S has the tool and a holder bracket to hold the hose ends. The model 58114 has the holder bracket and the tool to crimp the ends on, coming in a plastic box.